Welcome to Uncloaked Illusions. Of course, I'm Chris Anthony, and it has been a while since I've made a video. Had a lot of things going on. Sort of also decided that I needed to just step back a little bit from the whole political realm. It's just overwhelming. Sometimes there's a lot going on, a lot of information to try and dissect and digest each day. And also there were issues with YouTube, still are to this day, where they are suppressing views. And I would see my count rising when I look at the overall statistics, but ultimately no numbers added to the video. So of course I have been in contact with fellow conservatives, or fellow liberals that are actually not of the liberal mindset, that mutated version of it. And it seems to be all around. It seems very Orwellian of what's going on. The topic of hand today, it's May 13th, it's Mother's Day, which we know that David Carroll basically labels this day as Happy Father's Day, and I love this particular point because it makes a great deal of sense. The Mother's Day craze that happens in the black community especially, I would have to look at the parental units, the single parental units, and thank them for the destruction of black America. Basically signing on to Lyndon Johnson's, war on poverty, and allowing the government to subsidize black families and remove the father from the house, which, mind you, liberals understand that in order to destroy a community, in order to destroy any family and remove the foundation, you have to remove the father. So they were very clever in doing this, and black people, being that they're really not that damn bright, they went along with it. So when you look at your mother and you thank her for giving you birth, most likely in a single parent facility, you thank her for the lack of ethics, the lack of morale. You thank her for the victimology being a very strong part in the black mind. You thank her for being the steward of a community that is completely unhinged. You have a bunch of bastard kids running around wreaking havoc. You have murders happening on a regular basis and high doses, and it being normalized. This is the dysfunctionality of the black community. This is what happens when you remove a father from the picture. You get an array of dysfunctionality. You get an array of normalizing things that are abnormal. This is exactly what they've done. I see it on a regular basis. I sometimes feel like I wake up in the Twilight Zone, because it's just things you can't explain, nor you can write, even if you were in Hollywood. This is what you thank your mother for. You thank your mother for opening her legs and choosing irresponsibly men that she knew and had a pretty good idea, I'm quite sure, that were not going to be parental unit material. Because of course black women have this thing where they want the most dangerous looking guy and appealing guy. They don't want the boring guy who does the 9 to 5, who goes to work, who has these values, who actually want to raise a family, a productive family. Really does help me to have an understanding and grasp the whole Margaret Sanger being a eugenist, and how she basically wanted to put a cap on black people being able to reproduce and procreate. Sorry. It's just a lot. Also I was looking at some research that Dr. Kanazawa had conducted a few years ago that apparently it was so egregious to black people, it got this particular professor terminated. And in his findings, the testosterone levels in black women are higher than they are in any other female. And mind you, yes, high levels of testosterone, it does drive libido, and this basically allows or makes black women be more in heat than any other female, and also it's a direct reason of why they choose irresponsibly sexually. They choose based on I suppose the endorphins a person gives them because they feel like danger is something that it's worth having and worth retaining, and somehow black women have gotten this fucking notion that their vaginas can change a man from being this loose and whorish type of guy to being a one-man woman. It doesn't work like that. Sorry, you don't have magic between your legs like you may think you do. It's just a vagina. They're making those artificially now. Needless to say, also about vitamin D, being that vitamin D is literally a hormone and it's not a vitamin, and people have a huge misconception with that. Now, this makes a lot of sense of also why you, from afar, I agree with this because I've been subject to being deceived in a sense. From afar, black women look like men. They have very masculine features. This is why black women have absolutely no regard for just being sensitive females. I mean, sensitive and also being very polite. I mean, black women are aggressive, very aggressive like men. And thank them, you've had a plethora since the 60s of being produced in the black community, a plethora of fucking effeminate men. So, and I was reading that a few days ago because I like to revisit my philosophy books and just kind of go over some of their philosophy, and I take to it. One in particular is Arthur Schopenhauer, and he was just pointing out how with each sex, the male is more feminine. He, in turn, he looks for a masculine female, and vice versa. A masculine female will look for a more feminine male. And this was something that was written back in the 30s, I believe. So yeah, going back to the whole testosterone playing a major role, yes. Black women are very aggressive. They are confused with aggression, actually. Tongue-tied. They're confused with their aggression because they believe that being aggressive means they're a strong black woman. So this is the confusion. This is why in most instances, black men, especially black men who actually want something out of life, who actually want to procreate with sensible women that will actually nurture their children properly. They're moving away from dealing with black women. Yesterday at work, one of the young men was just kind of raving about how he's just tired of black women, and this is exactly why black men are going to white women or non-black women. And I was listening to this like, okay, wow, this really is a trend that I kind of overlooked for the most part, because for myself, I was more interested in non-black women because of the lack of aggression and the lack of sensibility that they possessed. With the sensibility that they possess and the lack of aggression that they hold. And now to hear it from other black men, it's quite riveting for me. It's interesting. And back to that point, he was just very upset about I suppose the outcome with the female that he had been dealing with. Mind you, any relationship for the most part that black men have with black women, it is very, very tumultuous. There is a lot of anger, there is a lot of arguing and feuding, and this is the only way that black women have an idea of communication with people. Again, they don't have any communication skills, so this is the only way they know how to communicate. Their moms probably yelled at them incessantly, said some horrible things, used a great deal of profanity. Their name probably wasn't their name because they were bitch or hoe. So they just became very accustomed to responding to those indignant and disparative terms. I don't know. Give me your feedback on how you feel about Mother's Day. I just feel like Mother's Day is a waste of time. I feel like it's just basically patting people on the back that have ruined a culture, ruined their community. You know, by being sexually irresponsible, by pegging to this mentality that furthers their victimology, that they're no problem, it's everybody else. Everybody else is the issue. They don't want any solution. They seem to literally behave like animals. And again, this goes back to even Africa. You know, if you can look at some African tribes now with some of the rituals that they perpetuate even to this day, and you look at it like, wow, are they fucking sodomizing little girls and little boys in a ritual? Civilized and uncivilized. You know, and what seems to be metastasizing more so in America, in Black America, it's people that behave uncivilized, people that in truth need to be domesticated. And I don't think this can really be helped. I think it would take a couple generations to fix this issue, you know, but you would also have to remove the whole mentality that they believe they were fucking enslaved for some apparent reason. You know, that kind of helps me to segue into this whole Kanye West situation. Mind you, Kanye West has always been an attention whore. I don't even understand why people would even give him that type of attention, because again, he has an album coming out. I'm not surprised. You know, he's making these comments, these claims, or he's giving these supposed solutions about things that he probably knows absolutely nothing about. People should have been asking him what books have he read on slavery. What does he actually know about slavery? I mean, again, even with the comments that he made back in 2005 with Hurricane Katrina, black people were, you know, in lock and stone, ready to get behind him because he made the comment, oh, Bush doesn't care about black people. Because he failed to mention the chain of command, which was the governor, which was the mayor, which was our black preachers. He failed to mention this, our black representatives. He failed to mention these things. But this is a person that you want to take serious when it comes to any kind of race relation situations. Yes, I am completely open and for free thinking and the black people not thinking in a monolithic way. And everybody should be free thinkers. But at least if you're going to mention something like that, be knowledgeable about it. Because black people are so sensitive about something that they did not endure, they did not go through. Yes, racism does exist all over the planet for the most part. So you can't dispute that. However, the Asians, the Indians, the Latinos, and any other culture has not allowed this to stagnate them. You know, if you want to compare slavery to something that it can be compared to, look at the Holocaust. That didn't stop the German Jews from prospering. They're actually suffering over there due to migration, the illegal immigration issues that they're having over there in Europe in general. We all know that Germany pretty much rules Europe. Well, needless to say, I am Chris Anthony, and you probably will be getting more videos from me at this point. I am still working on getting my radio broadcast going, and we can actually have conversations about these telling topics. Like, subscribe, share the video if you'd like to. I would really appreciate it if you did, hit up the like button. And, if you subscribe, hit the notification button. And for those who have subscribed, I would say check it just to make sure they haven't unsubscribed you, because they have a tendency to do that now. And give me your feedback on this. How do you feel about Mother's Day? You can leave your comments in the comment section. You know that I will definitely get back with anyone, especially if their views or if their opinions are expressed in a respectful manner. I will not address anyone that's being disrespectful, because I feel like you pieces of shit, you're a plague on people that actually want to have conversations. But what do they call them? Trolls? I don't respond to trolls unless I just feel like humoring myself sometimes. Chris Anthony, and I am out.